League. PSG, we know, will face the winners of the Arsenal-Real Madrid game tomorrow. Remember, second leg of that, Arsenal go in with a 3-0 advantage, but playing at the Bernabeu for this second leg. Barcelona will play the winner of Inter against Bayern. Inter 2-1 up, playing at home at the San Siro for the second leg of that. So we got some great semi-finals coming up. Either way, these games go tomorrow. Today, though, gave us some drama that we didn't expect in both games.
Yeah, I wanted to just ask Thierry, and we'll go through the goals a little bit later on, but in terms of tactically how they set up, Ramsey was out and they brought in Onana, and we sort of thought that was a defensive move, but actually for Villa, it helped them get up the pitch. Did they go with just energy instead of maybe a bit more creativity?
To be fair, they scored the 2 goals without them being on the field. What I thought the Emirates didn't do so well in the first half, he thought about stopping them more than he thought about attacking them. Do you know what I mean? This is why he went 5 in midfield, 5 guys that could match, as you mentioned before, them going for being man-marking and trying to make it difficult for them instead of thinking, you know, how can we attack them? You know what I mean? He was thinking about stopping them. And at one point, when you're 2-1 down, there's nothing about stopping them anymore. It's you ongoing. But you were already behind from the first leg. Having said that, you know, if you go back out of the tactical thing, man, they made it a game. I couldn't see that coming. I'll be honest with you, and they were very close to go to extra time.
You always talk about patience as well. Sorry, Kate, I feel like I'm doing my job here.
I feel the same way.
But you always talk about patience, Jamie, as well. How do you think Aston Villa did that with the patience, with like the tactical setup from the start compared to then the second half?
Well, I think we always talk about going for the game and we talk about being with the ball. But we said before the game as well, your analysis was about, you know, how at times they were having a back 5, a back 6. They couldn't afford to do that. They had to almost go man for man and be aggressive. Now, I understand what Thierry is saying. He's right. But I also can think where Unai Emery's coming from. And I think if we play teams at home in Europe, sort of for Liverpool at Anfield, and it wouldn't be about like, we're going to get on the ball and play great football and play through them. We'd almost be thinking, we want to win the ball off them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That would be our way of thinking we can score, and it'd be using the crowd. It wouldn't be about like, okay, maybe getting between the lines. And that would come maybe later on as the game slowed down. But certainly at the very start, it'd be like man-to-man all over the pitch, press them all over the pitch, lift the crowd, win a big challenge and make it like a Premier League game. And I think, to be fair to Villa, they did make it like a Premier League game. They started the way we thought they should in terms of being aggressive against the ball. But if you leave yourself 1v1, what happened in the first half can happen, you know.
I just, because, by the way, what they wanted to do is, Paris Saint-Germain went through their pressing anyway. I just thought also that Watkins came too late into the game.
Do you think where he could have said, the only thing I look at is when he brought Watkins on, do you leave Rashford on, rather than still going with the extra midfield player?
You should, and Rashford was on fire, he was playing well. Yeah. It was nice to see that also from Marcus Rashford.
We're going to take you over to Villa Park for a reaction from over there, because, of course, we've had Anita there for us all evening. We've been talking about the atmosphere and how important that was for Villa, the belief that they played within that second half. What was it like to be over there, Anita?
Incredible stuff, Kate. Honestly, this is the stuff of football fans' dreams. It looked like Aston Villa were going to make the comeback happen, but just short at the end there. So exciting, especially when John McGinn had that goal. I know there was a deflection on it, but you just felt the roof raise in here. I actually spoke to the Aston Villa captain a couple of moments ago, and he made a big statement. He called PSG the best team in the world. I asked him, did he think they were going to go on and win the competition? And he thought they had a very good chance. Also asked him about one of the other quarterfinals happening tomorrow between Real Madrid and Arsenal. He thought Arsenal could get the job done, but interesting in that he thinks that PSG are so good. He said they're so devastating on the attack and felt that like him and his teammates would really feel it tomorrow.
Interesting. Are you hoping that you might be able to speak to anyone else and bring them to us in the studio, or what's the plan, Anita?
I'll try work my magic, you know. Maybe Big Meat should have come here and given me a hand.
I know.
Maybe he should have spoken to the ground staff. I told you. They were calling for you, Micah.
Sorry, Anita. What was the atmosphere like, Anita? Did you enjoy it?
100%. I'd come back. Like I said, John McGinn said that him and his teammates are full of motivation to get back to this competition next season. As things stand, they're 7th in the Premier League table. So much to play for. It is tight in those positions from 3rd through to 10th. So they have a real chance of getting back to the top European competition for next season.
I'm liking the coat, Anita. I'm liking the coat.
Thank you. Thank you. I had to make an effort.
Is it real fur?
Oh, wow.
No.
What?
You and Micah, Kate. You wanted to come and throw paint at me at the next game.
Just finding out. All right. Thank you, Anita. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you. See you.
Are we getting Dembele?
Oh, ask her. She's
I
gone.
was trying, but you talk about coats, so I couldn't get it. Well, it's just we have a job to do.
People are always ruining your football talk,
We
aren't
have a
they?
job to do.
If you're a fan, you're disappointed, but you've loved it as well. You were going there not really expecting too much, and that's a night that they remember for a long time. You know, hopefully from their point of view, they'll get in the Champions League next season. I think they will, through the league position. But that's a night they couldn't have dreamt of sort of 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, they'll be disappointed, but there'll be a real buzz around Aston Villa now going forward because they can use that. If that to finish 2 or 3-0 losing, it was 2-0 at one stage. If that goes 3 or 4, that affects your league form. That affects maybe the cup semi-final that you've got. They can use the fact that in John McGinn, the captain's eyes, they've beaten the best team in Europe and beaten them well and could have been by more. So they've got to take that going forward now.
From PSG's perspective, that shouldn't have happened, should it? Coming in 3-1. I mean, they kind of lost composure throughout that game. What happened?
Jimmy knows that. Micah also, on the run, you're going to suffer sometimes. They suffered in the group stage, or in the league, shall I say, obviously. But they're going to suffer along the way somewhere. And they suffered tonight. I remember when we won in 2009, we suffered in Lyon. We got battered. We just made it 1-1. It should have been 2-3 to 4-0. Benzema had chances, Makoun had some chances. I don't know what happened to us that night, but we came back in the game 1-1. We made it 1-1, just barely. And then we went home, and then home it was a different ball game. But it's going to happen away from home in Europe. It will happen. You have to dig deep and make sure that you can go through. You're not going to ease your way of lifting that trophy. It's not always the case.
So the way you say that could have affected Aston Villa had it gone badly for Aston Villa and been a wide, aggregate loss for them tonight. Does that affect PSG in any way because they concede 3 goals for the first time this season? Does it shake the confidence that they've been building?
Well, it's happened. I think it was the first time it's happened this season. So I think they've done so well this season. I think they'd put that just down to a hiccup, almost forget it really happened in some ways, and almost give credit to Aston Villa. And as Thierry said, in a cup competition, anyone who wins a cup competition, the best team don't always necessarily win a cup competition because you need a little bit of luck. Now, they've had a little bit of fortune there. You look at the chances that they missed at the end of the game, but me and Thierry and any other teams or players you can think of who've won it, you think of a game there, actually the final.
Yeah.
You think of the chance Shevchenko misses last kick of the game. He's never going to miss that again if he gets that chance. So you'd always have those moments, and that, as Thierry's rightly said, that might be theirs.
Well, it still could potentially be a fantastic season for PSG. They could still win a treble. They could still go invincible in the league. They've already won the league title, but could still end up invincible. I mean, it could be a very special season for PSG if they can hold their nerve.
Very special. It's very unusual when you have a lot of teams in the Champions League that can do the treble. We're very fortunate to have that this year in the Champions League. And
PSG, Barca, Real, Inter.
And Inter, yeah.
Thanks, Kate.
Just for anyone at home who was wondering.
No, it's just like, look, if they stay unbeaten in the league, it will be something great. But what they're chasing really is the Champions League for a very long time. And that's not. I don't think that game everyone's going to go, oh, you know what, we saw this or we saw that. It happened. Villa responded. It wasn't enough, and I don't think that PSG will be so upset about it. The manager will. That's a different ball game. The manager will, but the fans will just be happy to finally go again in the semi-final and maybe having a chance to win it.